Okay.
Hello.
Welcome back to another episode of Just Like Us. I'm your host, Justin Bird. This is my lovely co-host, Letty Zito. Welcome in. So, tonight, we're joined by Susie Navarro, a quantum wealth mentor, intuitive healer, and Gong Master who helps people unlock abundance through energy, breath, and presence. This episode is about activating wealth from within, clearing blocks, and stepping into your highest self with heart-centered power. Without further ado, here's Susie. Let's go, Susie. Woo! What's up, girl?
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here with you both.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. I know we're excited to have you here, and we want to know more about what you do in your field. Can you explain a little bit about what the quantum is in your world?
Absolutely. Well, okay. So what I do is I work with really powerful leaders, people that are out to get it, right? Because my background is in leadership, and I've been leading people for years. So I firsthand know the exhaustion that comes with that. And then taking it a step further, just attracting that level of abundance on so many levels, right? So we're talking different types of wealth, of abundance, such as not just financial, but that of course is a major, very important one that we all need and we all want to call in. But sometimes what we do is we get so focused on attracting that branch, if you may, of abundance that we forget about the rest of what we call life. And soon enough, we're so lost in achieving through the what I like to call old programming ways, right? Which is chasing and running yourself thin and really ignoring yourself, betraying yourself. And we can definitely go deeper into those spaces. But it really ends up leaving ourselves feeling depleted. And many times, a lot of my clients that I work with, just like a shell of a person. So those are usually the leaders, the people that are out there really trying their very best to achieve for themselves and their families, come to me because they see that there's a big component missing, and that's called quality of life. And so that's my focus, where it's you know I want everyone to achieve all of the different branches, just wealth, and not financial, of course, absolutely, but also emotional wealth and spiritual wealth and relational wealth, where our relationships aren't just the relationship with ourselves and with our loved ones is not suffering because we're so focused on one branch. So in a sense, energetically speaking, on a quantum level, I work with frequency to bring that all of that into harmony so it can resonate within your highest frequency. And so therefore what we create is from the inside out, as opposed to chasing out there and living in survival mode.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Love that.
Okay, so it's basically energy work, frequency healing, made simple, right?
Yes, right, absolutely.
Okay, and ladies had experience with you.
I have, yes.
Yes,
I
Yes,
joined
absolutely.
your quantum tribe group, and I didn't know what to expect. I mean, we met you, Susie, again on the
SSB.
social media income
And
challenge,
SSB, yeah.
Spectacular School of
Shout out to
Business,
Spec,
season
shout out to
15.
family. Yes,
Right. I mean, you're a very incredible person. I've gotten to know you over this last year and a half, and I love what you do. And it has been so helpful to me. When I took your course, it was an 8-week course, and we did a couple one-on-ones and then met with this group, and it was powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that you taught us how to shift inside, not from outside, but from inside, right? And gave us tools and techniques that I will carry with me for the rest of my life because I use them on a daily basis.
I've seen the change.
I use them on a daily basis, and I'm not perfect, but that practice, right? I hear Susie in my head. Whose voice is that, right? And I can identify, right? I can identify what's going on inside of me. I don't need to identify what's going on out there, because it really starts with what's going on inside of me. And so I can change what's going on inside of me with the tools that you gave us.
And it shows. Let me just be honest, but I see Susie, when she got into your course, like I started seeing it, unfold and how much she progressed. But I'm saying, as from then till now, like it helped like immensely. So whatever you guys did in the privacy of your guys' meetings, it's worked. I've seen it over the course of those several months that it really, really works. So I can attest that whatever you guys are doing, it works. It definitely works. So thank you for all you've worked with her on and did, because it's something special. She's come a long way. So yes, thank you, Susie, for all the work that you did for that. So okay, so any questions that you want to ask?
I do. I want to ask Susie. You talk about wealth, that it's something that you activate, right? We don't earn it. And what does that look like for someone who's feeling stuck or disconnected?
Great question. Absolutely. I feel like the world is constantly looking for an answer to that question. And so great question. And thank you so much for sharing, Letty, your success and the difference that your work has done, because you stepped into our quantum container fully, beautifully, in the expansion we witnessed to as the tribe. As Justin has said, it was just so beautiful. Beautiful. I love seeing you fully empowered, like you said, going inward for the answers versus seeking out in other external places. And Justin, thank you for confirming that as well as her partner, because we constantly do have partners whose partners change, drastically with the course of how now they interact with the world and in their relationships, to the point where spouses do want to also join and start the program themselves, because it's like, how is she looking younger? Because we start like aging, like, so much is happening. And so then they step in. And so because of what we're about to talk about, like the frequency, it's so palpable that and this is now answering the question that you have, Letty. Thank you for asking that. Again, it's very important to me, coming from so many years in leadership, right? I mean, I was school principal, I was leading in so many ways, in so many areas. But again, one thing that I started seeing, by the way, I've traveled the world looking for different techniques that provide me with some, calm and tranquility while I was achieving and doing everything. So I look around and I see high achievers, but they are stressed out. They're not doing well. Like, if we're going to be honest, like, not mentally, not emotionally. I mean, there's so many different variations of that. So the first thing we need to do is wealth. The word wealth, right? It's prosperity, is to have a lot of, and we can say material possessions, but prosperity is to achieve, like, to have value, to have more than that. And so again, when we talk about wealth, yes, I wanted to really attract a lot of financial, as much as it's in your blueprint to attract energetic as well. We have energetic wealth, and we'll talk a little bit more about that one in particular, but emotional wealth. I mean, how can you truly feel wealthy if you are reacting to your loved ones because you can't give them a minute? It feels too much already, right? To our kids or to our parents, or I mean, it just becomes messy in relationships when we can't master our frequency, our blueprint. And so it starts spilling over onto other people, and often it leaves us feeling not very good, because we love our people. We don't want to mistreat them. Right. We don't want to be stuck in this pattern. And then there's obviously spiritual wealth, where we tap into something greater. I'm not talking just one religion or anything. In spirituality is a very personal thing. So whatever that means to you personally, to embody, to bring in, to facilitate faith and trust in something that you're connected to, something greater than just you, right? You're not a lone island. We are all in this together, trying to find the same answers. So once we understand that, then it becomes it becomes a more freeing world, and Letty can see this now, right? Um, so it helps with relationships as well, just the way we've explained it. So if we can, and then time, I mean, just literally buying yourself back time, as in like that's wealth. If you can, if you can have so many accomplishments, credentials, whatever you want to call as success, but if you can't have the presence to just spend with your baby, to spend with your dog, to spend with your partner, like where what are we doing all this for, right? And
Right.
so redefining wealth is the first thing we need to start doing, right? And then from there we start shifting. Now your question, Letty, was, now how can people get to that space? Okay, that sounds nice, Susie, but so what's the bridge? How do I tap into that? Like, that's the real question. And so again, if we define quantum wealth as a frequency, right, as opposed to a finish line, right? So it's literally the quality of energy that you bring into your body, into your relationships, into your leadership. That's your frequency. So we need to understand that we radiate from within, whatever that is. So if we feel worthy of our services, if we feel worthy of our accomplishment, whatever it is, of love, that's a big one, because many of us don't feel worthy of love. We can have hundreds, thousands of people loving us. We can have that one person that really means the world to us professing their love for us. But if we can't accept that, then we won't see it. So I'm saying all that to say that whatever we're really spending time around, it's going to create that energetic pattern that you emit.
Right.
So it's the frequency is a vibration behind your thoughts, your words, your emotions, your intentions. It's a living frequency. We don't realize that, but people can actually come in and they'll tune into our frequency. We can tune into each other's frequency. So again, we can tune into fear. If that's somebody's frequency, if I'm constantly living in fear, then we can tune into fear, or we can tune into control, creativity, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, yeah. Oh, shout out to Caesar, who's in here. We all know Caesar very well. Yeah, Caesar's in
Love
here.
You.
Welcome in, brother.
He was in there. He was in there with us. And
yes.
Wow. He can attest to a lot of stuff we're talking about.
I can see from when we started to where he's at now.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Big time.
Like,
shout out, brother. How you doing?
Amazing. And I love what you're saying, Susie, because for me, I was living in a frequency right before, I stopped any substances or came to see you, of unworthiness. I wanted love, but what I understand now today is that I can give myself that love. And are there times that I'm looking for that external validation? Yes, because we want that from the people that we love.
Right.
But then I'm also understanding that sometimes that person can't give you what you need, right? Because of whatever it is they're going through or feeling themselves. And we have the power to give ourselves what we need. I'm already love. I'm already loved, right? I can't get more of it. I am it.
Right.
So that is what I'm understanding about myself. And that has helped me be less reactive, like, again, like I said, not perfect, but man, it's getting like better and better, where I can identify where I'm feeling it in my body, everything you taught us, where you feel it in your body, what thoughts are going through my head and whose thoughts are those, right? It's like being the observer, right? Of what's going on in your world and being able to kind of detach yourself from it and change your frequency from the inside, because when you change from the inside, it changes out there. I had it backwards. My whole, I knew that there was a power, right, greater than me inside of me. There was a divinity. I just didn't have the tools to line that up.
Right.
And I've really skyrocketed after being in your group.
Yes, I can attest.
Right? And being able to identify those things, not not identify them as my identity, but identify them, right, as something that needs to be purged, needs to come out. And then I could fully align with that power inside of me. And, it's been an incredible journey with you. It really has. Like, hopefully I don't start
I have a
crying,
question.
but yeah.
I got a question for you, Susie. So
Absolutely.
what kind of I guess what person would be like the best fit, or who would be the kind of person that would benefit most from seeing you? What kind of a person would say, hey, this is what I got going on? What kind of a person would you say would benefit the most by coming to see you?
Absolutely. So I would honestly say that I attract, my majority of my clients are really high achievers, really truly entrepreneurs, leadership, people in leadership. But I will say this. I mean, I do work with a lot of people. I work with celebrities and millionaires and right? But we're all looking for the same thing. So that the person, the being that would benefit from coming to our tribe would be the person that is really, bottom line, just absolutely sick and tired of observing their own patterns that are not working for them. They feel stuck, they feel blocked, they don't know how to, like Letty said, but how do I get to that space? I feel that I have so much power in me, but I can't activate it. I can't just allow that to like show. How do I get there? And people that are done with it, they're done with living in fear. They want to truly unhook from the trauma.
Yeah.
And they want to return to their presence. Like, we don't want to get stuck in whatever was left to us, passed down, whether it's ancestral, cultural, just learned from survival. And I'm talking even about my multimillionaire clients that's still in survival mode. This is not a financial thing. This is an internal thing. But I say this, Justin, to all my clients, I'm not your teacher. If you want to tippy toe and you think this is another cute yoga class, and Letty knows this, it's if you're real about it. Like, if you really truly real with yourself, like it's okay if you don't know the how, but the fact that you know that you're ready for something bigger, you're ready to get it, you're ready to achieve wealth on all levels. Now, I'm not talking one branch, I'm talking all branches. That's you. You're my student, and I am your mentor. But it's a quantum jump, because we're not talking mini baby steps. We're gonna get really in there, right, Letty?
Nope. No joke.
Did you learn all this on your own, or did you have to do like schooling, and like how did you go about getting where you're at now?
Ooh, I love that question, Justin. Thank you for asking. So the way that I work, and Letty can attest to this, right, is I work scientifically, like, so very science research. I'm super into research, so there's a lot of science that goes into this, but also metaphysical work as well. So yes, I have multiple degrees behind me, right? Like, I have my bachelor's in psychology from UCR. I have my master's degree in leadership. I'm saying, and I have so many credentials, I could just like go down the list. But at the same time, while I was achieving at a university level, if you may, I was also exploring the world. You should have seen me, like, on like little canoes getting through the jungles of Vietnam just to get to that temple on top of the, sitting on the water, or climbing the, how many stairs just to get to that other, sacred space. So I've been seeking out this guidance, this information, and in Peru, working with the shaman, like, just really seeking this out for myself. And again, it feels like my entire life has added up to this very special place in my life now, because I quit my my six-figure career, and I jumped into doing this just simply to support other people and teach them everything that I've gathered from around the world with different beautiful teachers, spiritual teachers that I work with, and otherwise scholars, etc. So I put everything together, and I literally give you the top of what's really made an impact in my life.
Nice. Okay.
Love that.
Awesome.
Love that. And we're also, I have it's a QR code that I made with your link, so that if anybody is interested in joining this amazing journey of going within, we all want to, like you said, we want to activate the wealth of emotions, the wealth of abundance in every area of our life, financial, emotional, relational. And you can click this link. Not click it. Sorry.
Yeah, scan the QR
Not
code.
click it, but you know what I mean. Too. Anyways, Susie.
Yes.
Scan the QR code,
y'all. Get in
and
there.
that will take you to her.
I've seen the transformation.
Quantum Wealth Activator. Yes,
this right here it is a game changer, you guys. Okay,
it really is.
You're talking to a professional here. Really you heard her credentials and her background, what she's doing. It's not just a drop in the bucket. This isn't just something that's this is professionally top notch. You're getting the whole shebang. And I've seen Letty and Susie work, and it is amazing. When she comes out of there, it's just like she's glowing. So make sure you guys scan that QR code down here and get in there with her and at least get a consultation. If I'm not mistaken, you do consultations, correct?
Yes, she does.
Absolutely, yes.
It's gotta be
Absolutely.
A fit, right? Got to be a fit. It's not just like it's for everybody. I'm sure she's not going to take anybody's money and just allow anybody. You have to, I'm sure, have the right frequencies coming in. You can't just be just any old Joe Schmo. And I don't want to speak for you, but I just want to make sure it's a right fit, correct?
Absolutely, Justin. I say that all the time. I definitely have turned away people. Again, I'm looking for people that are serious, because one thing I do want you, all of them, everyone to know is that, when we feel stuck, it's not because we're broken. It's not. Like, it's really not. It's just an operating frequency of disconnection to what's really inside of you. So the person that's ready, like you said, to activate that wealth within, to stabilize your inner system, to regulate your nervous system, like, and getting into the frequency where it's really going to attract and reflect all of that from outside. That's who my client is. And anything less than that, right? Like, I will say, come back when you're ready. I have no qualm saying that.
Right. Okay. I have a question for you. So as far as when it comes to like health wise, not only mental, physical, so I myself am on about 50 hours of what is it called when you're not fasting, and I feel better than I've ever felt in my life. Like, I've been juicing. Letty's been making juice. How important is it to have not only like the mental side of the quantum was what you teach, but how much is it like what you eat in the physical side as important as to what you do in your field?
Yes. Love it. Love that question. Wow. So thank you for saying that, because that's definitely one of my branches as well. The physical side of it. So we work when we step into the container. We are taught through Kundalini yoga. We have 10 bodies, right? So the physical body is one of them. For example, the aura is what we're familiar, or electromagnetic field is another one. So we have 10, just to save us some time here. But we work on all of them. The physical body is not mind is out. We literally can't achieve anything without the physical body. So now keeping that, optimizing. So I'm all about optimizing all of it. And Letty can tell you this, right? But optimizing your physical body is absolutely crucial, because again, we can't focus on stepping into your purpose and giving your frequency, leaving your mark on this earth, if you can't get out of bed because your body's too busy processing processed foods, for example, right? But I will tell you this, when we start the work, and I say this in front of everyone, I say the physical body, the health wise, is super crucial. I will share all of my stuff of what I do, my practices, my rituals, my mornings, just to prep the physical body. But that's a branch, if you may, that comes with everything else that we do. So what you start noticing, Justin, this is very interesting. When we start releasing all that outdated programming, all the stuff that's gunky in your energetic field, fear, shame, trauma, we start releasing all of that energetically. What will happen automatically is that your body, you're literally at a DNA level, it starts shifting. which means your body all on its own starts rejecting
Yes.
what's
Yes.
for you. It literally asks you to fast. It literally asks you to take that green juice, right? Versus that one fry. Like it just starts rejecting all on its own to a point where 100% of my clients, 100% of my clients will come and say, like, the stuff that I used to enjoy eating, I can't even anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's just your body, the energy just the energy of processed foods would just not be in alignment with your energy.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely crucial to answer your question. It's a must. We can't let go of the physical body because we're too busy doing other things. That's part of wealth. We bring it all around, we bring it all together, and you step fully into this world with everything that you have been given.
Absolutely. And I was going to say, I mean, I can attest to what you just said. As a matter of fact, last night, I mean, I've been, doing it with him, the juicing and we're not really eating, although I am. So I'm doing mine a little bit differently. But what I did find is I went and had some like processed sugar. It was like I get cookies or something. And after that, I was like, ooh, okay, this is why I shouldn't have done that. It just made me feel bloated and kind of foggy. Like I could feel it, in my body in a different way than before, right? When you just start awakening,
right,
to your spirit, to the power within you, you want to change everything from the inside out, right? And not want to seek external validation for what you're doing. I mean, you taught us this, that everything you need is inside of you. Your body knows what it needs. And it had been crying for many years. I many years had been crying, and I just didn't know where to turn. I mean, I turned to a lot of books, that talked about going to the places that you actually got to go to, like Peru. And I was like, wow, what is all this stuff, along with my faith in God. And because to me, it's all of that. God is all of that, because it's love. And it starts with that love for myself. And I think that has been the biggest gift that, I've been given, is just solidifying that, being part of your group, is just saying, I can look in the mirror today and say that I'm proud of who I am.
Yes, what a difference. What a difference. Seriously, she has come so far. And, I wanted to ask you, Susie, so with somebody where, I've seen that you and Letty were online, would you say that, would it be not more beneficial, but if somebody were to come actually physically and see you in person, or do you even do that? Do you see your clients in person, or is it majority or all online?
Beautiful question. Oh my goodness, this is a real key one. So here's the thing about this frequency. Frequency does not know distance. Okay. So we're going to start there. Like, I work with people from around the world, and my program has been designed strategically this way because, again, I travel the world and I meet many, many people as I travel. And I don't want people, I mean, did I contemplate getting a studio in Venice or, Marina? Yeah, I looked at them. However, I don't want it to be, and I teach this too. This isn't about having a physical space you want to come into, and if I travel, I can't tap into it and I can't wait to get back to LA. Like, no. This is about us creating your sacred altar, your sacred space within you. And so this is why I don't have a physical location per se. I do want to say I do give live in-person meditations. I hold those for crowds. I do, and I absolutely love them. But if you want, and I invite you to come to them, it's nothing that you've ever experienced before. And this is what I get, what I hear from people attending, because again, I bring everything I've learned from around the world and I pour it all. But this particular type of work, where if you are living in survival mode, even if you're financially wealthy, but you're still in survival mode mentally, and if you want to get out of there and thrive and now get into a place of like everything around you is matching your frequency versus you chasing everything and outsourcing love and outsourcing healing and outsourcing peace, Like if then this particular type of work I do virtual work because again I attract people from around the world and I don't want them to feel like they can't participate if they're not physically around my location.
Right. Ooh, perfect timing.
That was, yeah.
So
that was
I know
really
we
good.
had a short session today. So we're at the 30-minute mark. We tend to go usually for an hour depending on where it's going, but I know that, you know, we've got some things to do. And I wanted to ask you before we end up getting closer to closing out, do you have anything that you want to let people know that they can get from you, or what you want to kind of promote and let people know what you're about, even a little bit deeper than what we've talked about today?
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Again, I just want to say thank you both for having me here. You're both really beautiful people. We stayed in contact for a reason, and then we connected, you know, on many levels, on a soul level. So again, thank you so much for having me here. But I do want to say that, you know, activating your frequency, right? Like activating that wealth, it just really means intentionally choosing the energy that you want to live in and you want to lead from. So it really starts with awareness of the self. You have to recognize what frequencies you're currently tuned into, whether it's fear, pressure, disconnection, lack, right? And you want to shift that into the energy that you want to embody, such as like say peace, clarity, confidence, abundance, love. So it's not about forcing a vibe, it's about returning to your sacred vibration. And so again, you know, this is a sacred devotion to your evolution. It really is. Like we're no longer playing by outdated programming that means like I'm not worthy if I don't, right? It's like I'm so worthy that I attract it, right? That's the difference. And so we vibrate differently because now we are in alignment with ourselves, which means everything out of alignment with ourselves falls off, and everything that needs to be in that space to match our vibration comes to us. So again, I'm really honored to have had Letty in, you know, to have her as part of our tribe. You're always going to be tribe, and so and just to see your growth, and I continue. You know, I'm going to continue doing this work and expanding so we can really fully get to the rest of the world. We need it as the earth frequency. We're switching frequencies, and a lot of people are, you know, choosing a higher frequency, and I'm here for that, and I'm here to help you get into that next step just by embodying who you truly are.
Let's go. And then in the chat, we've got Desmond Soon came in. Shout out to Desmond Soon. Welcome in, brother. He said, great thing, Susie, as well as he says, she is really an expert in her field. I am evidence of her skill and talent working. Absolutely. Yeah. Again,
I see it in Desmond too. I mean,
too.
You know, when we're,
definitely.
You know, we've
and
been
Caesar as well.
Part of, and Caesar. Yes. I mean, everybody who, you know, has been in and is in your tribe, your quantum soul tribe. And, you know, when I first met you, you know, I was like, man, I'm really drawn to her, and I didn't know why. And now I do, right? You helped activate me even more. You know, when like I said, when I had stopped using substance, even before that, I knew that there was stuff inside of me, and being a part of this group has really, like I said, skyrocketed me into who I really am. It's a remembering who we really are, and like deprogramming, you know, I always say, unlearn to relearn. You know, and it's a continual thing. And a lot of us don't talk about like how messy that is too. Cause even when I first started, I was like, you know, I would call Susie, or I would text Susie and be like, hey, am I supposed to be feeling this? Like, what is going on?
Yeah,
I feel right.
Yeah.
I would be like, I just want to be, you know, alone, and sometimes, you know, it could cause, well, it did cause problems relationally, right? Because he didn't understand. And I couldn't fully explain it yet. So I would go to Susie and be like, hey, what's going on? And she was always so available and helped walk me through it every step of the way.
Yeah.
Right. Because we like to talk about how wonderful it is after, but getting through that, Susie, I was like, I don't know, yo,
like
like
a
this
detox,
is
right? Like a
that's
detox.
exactly
I'm sure it's
what
an alignment
that's
thing, right?
exactly what
Getting
it
all
looks
that
like,
negative
right?
energy out of you, and I didn't really know how powerful that was until I seen Letty of like I'm telling you, she was like physically like ill, and it was good because now we see the outcome from what you guys were going through and what you were teaching her. And that I'm telling you, just everything about her, she's come so far from where she was before she started until afterward, and I'm like, wow, what a night and day difference. So again, whatever you're doing, I'm actually considering even jumping in there myself because you know, I've seen the results from her, I've seen the results from Desmond, I've seen Caesar. So I mean, this might be something I have to jump in there and do. So again, scan the QR code, you guys. Get in here, scan the QR code with Susie and get on her. I mean, I don't want to present if you're not. Do you have openings, Susie? Is there availabilities for people to come for your time?
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. You guys are saying if you guys have a little more time, we can spend a little more time around what you guys both said, because I think it's really powerful. It's so important. Everything you're saying is so important. I do want to say hello to Cesar. Cesar, hello. I am so proud of him. Oh my goodness. And of course, Desmond, it's so good to see you here. Thank you so much for your shares. And yeah, so yes, okay, so two things. Justin, if you join Letty in the tribe, this is coming, and you can speak to the rest, you know, the tribe, the people in the tribe. Is like when you are in a partnership, right? Whether it's a business partnership, it's financial, it's you know, a romantic partnership. When you're in a partnership and you are both going through this work, you have done the work, the detoxification, as you call it beautifully, Justin. It is a detox. So put a pin on that, because Letty, you're right. We need to talk about that part. We really do need to talk about it. So if you both go through the detox, right, then now you're both meeting and seeing each other up here. Now, this is all my quantum couples, is what we call them. And Letty, you were in front of a quantum couple. In fact, the whole family, right? That you even met their daughter that came on.
Wow. Yes.
Right?
Amazing. I was like, man, if I could have been like that at 14. Please.
You guys have to share, because we don't really have a clue what you guys are talking about here. But I would love to know, because you guys are both like, I want to know. Share. You know what I mean? Let me know. I want to smile like that.
Yeah. The daughter, she was, or not was, but is 14, and just her level of confidence and what she has gained, you know, working with her mom and dad, with Susie, the way she articulated herself, and just not this passive aggressive, but this, this very assertive. Yeah, it's a couple that's
within, and their daughter came in, right? Okay, just so I get it.
So just so you can get context, so there's a couple that have been working with me for over 3 years. We've been together, and this is just because we keep going deeper and deeper, and this just gets more and more amazing as we go. And but not only them, they actually brought in their children as well, and they immersed. They actually just no, all of our family needs to be doing this and seeing this. And so we have a 14-year-old that joined us in one of our groups, and she just wanted to say hello. And of course, because her parents are in the group and she's my client as well, you know, she came in, and everybody, all the adults in the group were like completely like just like wowed by her. So this is what Letty now is saying. So go ahead, Letty. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Wait, you're saying I could have got in there too? I could have came in there? I sure would have. I would have been in there, you know what I mean? Eat it up. But either way, I'm glad Letty got to get. Go ahead, Letty.
It was amazing. Just to see her, just how articulate, like I said, how much in her power
14-year-old, right?
At 14.
Yeah, okay.
Right? I'm, you know, it made me think back to where I was at 14. And I already had so much trauma, but no way to, you know, release it, which is why I turned to the things that I turned to, not just substances, but men and shopping and gambling and, you know, other destructive behaviors, right? And those aren't even things that I want to keep doing. Like, I recognize them like pretty instantly today, right? And I'm able to shift the energy within myself. And if I'm not able to, a lot of it, most of the time, I'm able to, you know, remove myself until I can, and then I can rejoin, right?
Hey.
Because
hey, let's go.
Patterns are meant to be disrupted, and that was one thing. I'm seeing patterns. I'm seeing patterns in all of my relationships, all of them.
Yeah, coming a long way.
Right, and the one with myself.
Right.
And so it is about disrupting, right, that pattern and causing it to go in a new direction, right, where I can build that muscle, right? That's what you taught us in there.
Let's go.
And it's been a very powerful tool in all of my relationships, but most importantly, the relationship with this girl right here.
Let's go.
So
yes, shout out to another SSB star that's in here. Kimberly Boykin is in the house. So we got 5 SSB stars.
Love her.
Alumni in here with Desmond Soon. And it's popping right now. So this is exciting to me, you guys. I mean, I'm really into this. I mean, I've seen Letty get done with her work, and when she come out of it, it was like either she'd be sweating or she'd be glowing. And so I don't know. It seems like it might be a little bit stressful, but I think that stress comes from breakthrough. I feel like Letty would come out with some breakthroughs, and her attitudes, just her whole aura would be like glowing, you know what I mean? And so there's days.
But let's be real too. At first, you were like, "What the?"
Yeah, no, because I mean, like
I was like, "What the hell is going on?"
She didn't know what to
expect. I
you
really didn't.
I told her, you got to ask Susie what this is, because whatever's going on, it was like she was kind of sick, and like we spoke about before, Susie, was it's the detox. It's these things that she's never dealt with or even learned how to like push out through frequencies, through vibrations. And so I'm seeing her come out of here. I'm like sweating and stuff. I'm like, and at night she's like, I think this stuff's like affecting me in like a really good way, but it's coming out like kind of negative. And I'm like, I don't know what to say, but it worked. I could see the difference.
I just went with it. Susie just kept saying, just stay in it.
Trust the
process. I'm like, are you sure?
Trust the process.
Are you sure, Susie? She's like,
Full House of Scorpio. Look.
Dang.
Yeah, right. Let's go.
Scorpios,
yeah, let's go. Shout out to Kim though. Welcome in.
Yes, sister. Kim. Love you. Wow, Susie. It is. It's a detoxing of all those old patterns. And I just had to let them come up and not judge them. That's what you said. Don't judge them. Don't engage. Just feel what it's like to let those feelings express themselves. And you don't have to attach to them. And I'm like, okay, that's what I've been doing my whole life. So I was like, all right, if I want something different, I've got to do something different. So I'm going to follow what Susie's saying. And poor Justin, honestly, I don't know.
I'm strong. I'm super strong. But yeah, she's not lying though. We're going through it together.
Side of that, we really are.
We were. She was going through it, and I was able to, cushion it and be able to support her with what you guys were doing, Susie, because it was powerful.
So that's how powerful it is, Susie. Is he wasn't in there with me, but you had said, just when you shift, right? You can shift the room. You can shift that you emit that frequency, right? But I have to eliminate. I had to like flush out all of that other programming that I had, and it's still happening even today. Like I said, what you've given to us, right, is such a beautiful thing.
Yes.
And of course, there are days that we can go back into those patterns, but I think we both, whether it's him or I, like, ooh, that's a pattern. Let's stop right there. We can say that out loud to each other. Like, let's stop right there. Like, this isn't going how I want it to go.
Whatever you did, it worked. Right? Whatever you did, mentally, emotionally, like she has been so much more aligned after talking with you. And you guys, had 6 weeks? I want to say you over-delivered and you did a little more than that. Because I know I've worked with you for a couple days. I was me, you, Desmond, Caesar. There's quite a few of us in that room where you gifted us, that present of having us come into that room for alignment. And I remember stretching and like doing the downward dog or something like it. And I was like, all dizzy. But I know that it did something to me. I was like, I feel like my solar plex opened up and I was able to breathe better. So I know that it works. I know that it's something that you really have to commit to and would want to commit to, because let's face it. I mean, this is not just for the faint or the weak people. Like, you really got to want to fix and to connect with your inner self, right?
Absolutely. Oh, I love all of that, you guys. So beautiful. Yes, we did talk about this, and we said, even Desmond here, right? We were like, Letty jumps in. This is for you and for Justin. This isn't just for Letty. And obviously, it's past that. It's your healing generations, past and future, Letty. So your grandchildren, like all of that, like it's beautiful. I love that Kim is here, by the way. I was an assistant principal at a school where she had her babies enrolled. Love her babies.
Oh, let's go.
You got to see that side of me too.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. So it was nice to see her with the So Desmond. So it's so crucial what you're saying, because again,
crazy.
It's that person. It's that internal. It's that internal.
You guys. These guys,
Sorry,
Susie.
I am not. My head is not
guys.
bro.
You know, and look what Desmond's
Guys,
like.
come back,
Get out of here, Desmond. Get out of here.
Right.
We need to come back into the space.
Yeah,
Right.
right,
Like,
it is a house.
I can't highlight your stuff no more, Desmond.
right.
I got to come back over
Too
here
hot
just to that.
for
We're going to the
TV,
hot part.
Desmond.
How about that?
Jesus.
That's the
Okay.
Scorpio.
Go ahead, Susie. The floor's
That's
yours, queen.
talking.
Look at it, though.
Floor's yours, queen. Go ahead.
The Scorpio and Desmond.
Right?
Passionate. Let's go.
Over that.
Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead, Susie. Go ahead.
So, yes, it's so beautiful and so important. We say this again, it's not for the faint. You're absolutely right, Justin. Because again, when you commit, it's a devotion to yourself. It's a commitment. It's an absolute soul commitment that you take and that you make to yourself. But knowing the fact that this is going to change your life, it really is, no questions about it. But it's also going to impact and change the frequency for the rest of the people that you absolutely love. And so now the fact that I'm hearing it from, and I have not heard both of you together like this until just now. So, I mean, this isn't something that we talked about outside of here. Like, it's beautiful, but I continue to hear this from the partners of the people joining the tribe, again, to the point where they join themselves, because they're like, wait a minute, like, that's nice that she's or he's leading from that seed, but where am I at, right? Like, and so it's also, again, like, I want to step into my full alignment as well. And not only that, but as a parent, again, it's like, you know, Cesar here, actually, he shared something beautiful about, I think it was like the week. Oh, and even Desmond, you know, week 2, I think it was after the first meeting or second meeting, Cesar shared that his teenage daughter came and hugged him, and for the first time, and said that he felt like the ocean.
Yeah, let's go.
And so that's a beautiful thing to hear as a parent from your kids. If your teenager tells you that you feel like the ocean, as calming as the ocean, like I feel like every parent wants to hear that. Yeah. And then Desmond himself too, you know, I think it was after the second time together that he said that, you know, like the shifts were felt by his children, as well as his children's even mother and everyone. So yeah, it impacts everyone. Letty, to your point, you do the work here. Again, you impact everything. You impact in how you lead the way in your family. You lead the way in your business. I mean, imagine people coming to you and you feel like the ocean and you are their boss. Like, I'm not going to ever leave that organization. I'm going to want to continue, you know, adding to it. And so this really, really affects like the way that we just approach life altogether. And not only that, but it's how life responds to us as well. And again, I just want to say and to speak to the point where you both said like, you had no idea what was going on with Letty. It's like, ask Susie what's going on, right? And Letty's like, I think we should talk about this, Susie. It's so true. I say this here and now. It's so great. So fun. We're laughing now. And we say this all the time, even with the tribe. The people in the tribe, by the way, Justin, when the new tribe members came in and they were going through it as a group, right? So you could see the group chat. It was just like, yeah, Desmond just said, my boy's mom even noticed my shift from the anger and hurt to being more forgiving and open and peaceful. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. This is after the second session that they were already. So how can we not step into a greater frequency, right? Like, and then from there, everything just pivots for us. It's already happening in our favor. It's just that all those stored gunk, if you may, put it this way, and this is going to go into that space of what we talked about. Like, let's talk about the side where you really are wrestling with yourself, right? Yeah. Again, our blocks are not flaws. I just really want to continue saying that. before, like, you're not emotionally available, right? And then the person not emotionally was like, I want to be inside, right? Like I like, what? How can I, right? But that doesn't mean that they're broken and they won't ever like access that space,
Right.
or like, I just haven't found my flow in achieving financial, as financial stability or financial freedom, right? And it's like, it doesn't mean that I'm not trying, it doesn't mean that I don't want it so much, right? And people talk about manifesting, just want it all you want. It's like, there's a lot of alignment that needs to happen along with wanting it. You wanting something like emotional freedom, like financial freedom, you wanting it just shows you that that's part of your path. Start there. Okay. Just knowing that if you want it, that's already part of your path. So the question is like, well, then how do I get to it? Okay. Well, this is now we're talking about what Letty's talking about. We stating that we're not flawed. We're not broken just because we can't access that yet, being the keyword. Okay. Yes. I want us to understand that these are like, almost, if you want to call it, frozen frequencies, or frozen moments in time that didn't get processed. So they became emotional programs for us.
Emotional programs.
And what happens is we keep reliving them, just often, unconsciously, reliving. I'm going to tell you this, and this is a truth for all of us, is most people get stuck living in the loop of replaying past memories and fearing the future. They are living in the past and they're living in the future. I can't believe that happened to me. What if that happens to me? I can't bear the fact that I wasn't, living with a parent, dot. It's like, am I ever going to make it in the future and be able to feed my... So they're stuck in the loop of replaying the past and fearing the future. And that's what we do. Let's break out of that loop. Yeah. And now what we're doing is we're going to release all those moments in time that we weren't able to process, which most of them happened when we were children, by the way. And because we didn't have adults who could actually consciously help us process it, we kept storing and storing. So now they're here. And when you talk to that partner that's not emotionally available, they have blocked so many of their emotions just to survive as a child, that yes, they want to give that to you, but how do they access that without them feeling like they're going to collapse? Because that's what we're talking about with Letty, unhooking from the trauma. So together we name the fear. We unhook from the trauma, and from there, that's how we come into the space of presence, because we're not living in the past, we're not fearing the future, we stay here. And this is the quantum. This is where we actively create so much, but it is going through a process. I say this 100% of the time in my orientations. There's going to be depending on where you are. I've had clients that are suicidal, and it takes them 5 weeks to get to a point where they're like, I am in bliss, Susie, in bliss, right? Like, so 5 weeks, I'm not talking 40, 50 years or never getting out of them. I'm saying 5 weeks. So, I mean, anything less than that, like, it takes you 1 week, it takes you 2 weeks, it takes you 3 weeks to just sit in this space of bliss and clarity. But I will say this, and I say this to all my clients, you're going to go through, depending, at least 3 weeks of you wrestling with yourself. And what we're going to be doing is we wrestle ourselves, we wrestle our ego, we really kill the ego. The ego is what it's the way that we've been defining ourselves up to this point, based on that programming, based on the adults that were in our lives when we were children, based on our teachers, etc. So we're going to break all that down so we can get to work into who you really are authentically. So those are the first 3 weeks, maybe top 5 weeks, like I said, depending on where you're at. Like, there's no rush in this process, but 5 weeks is better than a lifetime of living in this space. 5 weeks is better than 20 years of doing the conventional when that doesn't work. So yes, Letty, you're right. Like, we do go through, a moment where we are actively bringing up everything is coming up, like, completely. I was just telling the group yesterday that of my story of when I was getting ready to fly to Spain one night at the very beginning of my whole everything. and I was on the floor, literally crumbled, crying, sobbing, right? And I remember thinking, I have my ticket and my passport in hand. The plane is going to leave. I need to exit this door. And I couldn't get myself out of the floor. And I'm like, everything flashing, all these things that for years flashing that I didn't even know I had in there. And I boarded the plane finally. I cried there. And then I remember getting to Spain to the airport, and I found myself a little corner in the airport in Spain, and I sobbed some more. But it's not easy. And again, this is why I'm like, no, it's not for the weak, guys. I'm calling in the spiritual warriors here, the goddesses that are ready to get in there. But you're gonna change the trajectory for the rest of your life.
Right. Yeah.
Is it worth it? 100%. Would I cry in the Spanish, like in the airport? Yes.
Right.
So because we're never going to get back to that space again. Just once we release it forever.
Go ahead, my bad.
No, it's okay. I do want to give it back to you, but you asked me if there was space. I just started a group yesterday, so there's definitely space to join that group, which 100% I would absolutely of course, encourage. But there's also one-on-ones as well, and then we start the groups, seasonally as well. But yes, Justin, you have something.
So what I'm getting from all this is we're going to the deep levels of quantum vibration. So when you're saying we vibe, people are vibing, there's a physical attraction to that. You're putting off your heart has a certain vibration, your brain waves have certain vibrations, your liver has a certain vibration. So when people are in tune and in touch with each other, that is very much so in frequency, right? You're talking about vibrations, like the little tiniest things in the universe are vibrating strings. You know what I mean? So you figure everything's connected to vibrations. This is to the deep core, as deep as you could probably get. And I think this is a special niche that you have, so to speak, or the career, or whatever you want to call it. This is something amazing. It goes to the fundamentals of the universe. So I think this could work for anybody. But on that note, is there anybody that this wouldn't work for? What you do?
Yes, thank you for asking. And thank you, Desmond, for your beautiful, for the sentiments on the chat. Yes, I will say this. Thank you for saying that. Absolutely. So working on a quantum level, working with frequency is working with, say, becoming in alignment with the universe, with everything else. So the people that don't typically succeed in my program are people that are boxed into their old programming, into their own programming. So if you are in a religion that does not allow you to explore outside of whatever they're teaching you, and you're committed to that religion, there's nothing wrong. There's no judgment here or there. But this is expansion. Like, I'm going to teach you some quantum level, like truth, scientific ones and everything. I'm not saying take it all. That's the one first thing that I say with everyone is like, what a truth. Your soul, your spirit recognizes the truth. Once you hear something that's your essence knows, that's the truth, you won't unsee it. In fact, I tell my clients, don't even bring a notepad if you don't want to, because you're not going to forget it. We're going to click into truths and you're not going to unsee it. Do you have to go back through your notes, Letty, or are you just like going because you've already switched frequencies? And that's the part that I'm talking about, being in the activation. Like, you don't have to go back and read chapter 2 again. You can, but I'm saying, like, we detect the truth when we see it. So I'm saying all that to say that I flow in and out of so many things, metaphysical, like scientific. I'm talking religions. I go, whatever has been recognized as a truth, I will bring it to the table. So if you're not ready to hear on that level, because it goes against whatever that may be, it's not your time. Like, go ahead and continue on your path. There's no judgment there. But if you're ready, like, I mean, ready to expand and open it all the way up, like, this is why we achieve that wealth. And this is, as Desmond has mentioned, a lot of top CEOs and celebrities and people come to me because it's like, yes, they've achieved one part, but if you're really ready to crack it open, let's go all the way in. And by the way, Justin, as you know, because you've been in a couple in Latinos, Desmond, it's done in a very nurturing way. I mean, I've been called Mother Earth so many times because like it's so nurturing. It's just chatting, like the way we're chatting right now. So don't think that I'm gonna have you sit there and relive that moment, and it's because I'm gonna stick you in that room so you can be no. It's just this, and then soon enough, as you're seeing, as you guys said, the partners start noticing everybody. So yes, so it's gonna work for everyone that is ready, that wants it.
Yeah, like a hypnotist. You're not gonna go in there and not want it to work and have it work, right? Like, I mean, if you really want something to work, it's going to work, especially if you're wanting it to work and work the program, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah, if you're not fighting yourself on it, because there's some people that are like, hey, Susie, I see an angel number 444 after, we met. And it's like, but it frightened me because my religion told me that was some. And so it's like, okay, so if you're not willing to have those conversations and you can shut down because of what you've already been taught and you're done, that's all I'm taking in, whatever I've been taught, then this is probably not the expansion level that you are looking for, obviously. So that's okay. But yeah, it will absolutely work on anyone that wants to show up for themselves. There's no limit.
Right. Okay, absolutely. Perfect. And I love, we're so afraid to dive into our pain because of why? Because of fear, right? A fear of what happened. It's exactly what you just said. But the way out is in. It really, really is. Once you face that pain, you're like, man, that's what I was afraid of. Right. And Susie really helped with that, right? Because there were things I was like, ooh, I don't know. But I was just so open because I was just so tired of things being the way that they were, right? That I was like, I'm open. Right.
Yeah.
And my time is now.
Yeah.
And you came into the space, right? Where they say when the student is ready, the teacher or the mentor shall appear.
Right. Yeah.
And absolutely. I was ready.
Susie was like, it was perfect timing. It really was, because we were, we're going through so many great things, and to have you come around and be able to allow Letty that space to open up was really great. And also have the fact that how we're vibing right here, we definitely over delivered and overextended, because we were going to be about a half hour, right? But we had to keep it going. Yeah, I mean, we had to, because when it's good, right? And you don't want to cut it short. So our vibes here are fantastic, and it's been a pleasure having Susie on. We'll have to have you on again at some point, and maybe even do some kind of whatever you guys do inside of what and not to but to give people a taste of what they can expect if and when, But so we'll have to have you on again. And we want to say thank you to all the people who showed up. For those who are watching after, if you guys are watching the replay, thank you guys for showing up. Make sure you guys chime in and go ahead and scan this QR code. Get in there with Susie, get a consultation, and check her out. Because again, we have seen firsthand what she does and the magic that she brings. So go ahead and check her out. You can't lose. You got a full house winner in here. She's ready to rock. She will show you what is needed and necessary on a quantum level. Get in there and get Susie on your roster, you guys. So again, thank you for everybody joining.
I wanted to say, if you're going to bet on anybody, bet on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you bet on yourself, other people will bet on you too. And Susie bet on me.
I like that.
Because I know she could see that I bet on myself.
That's right.
All the way. So thank you so much, Susie. I appreciate
everything.
Eternally everything that you have done.
And we'll have to connect even after and just kind of get a briefing of what exactly we have uncovered and accomplished since we've last spoke. Because it's been a while since we spoke to you, but we can get on a call at some point and we can kind of discuss on how much it really has contributed to our recent success of having you and Letty do these sessions. So again, thank you for everybody who joined. Susie, again, shout outs to you for showing up for this entire hour. We love you, sister. And you guys stay tuned. We will be live every Wednesday and Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is Just Like Us, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Again, thank you, Susie Navarro.
Love you guys. Love you guys.
Next time. Bye.